All right. Well, I must be bored as all hell because I'm just going through a few of my guitars, a few of my cheap guitars. This is my SX custom series, vintage series here, custom made bullshit from China. Okay, prepare yourself, don't get upset. But I did the old road worn thing myself. I've had this guitar for a long time, and I put every pickup in it I could, changed every freaking pickguard I could, knobs, pots, you name it. I never got happy with this thing. I always had a high fret for a while, but it's got a pretty good thick slab of rosewood or cheap rosewood. And I ended up putting 5 different kinds of tuning pegs in it till I decided these are the best ones, these locking tuners. I had a started out with this was actually one of those Nashville Deluxe knockoffs. I bought this guitar, by the way, for $109 shipped, tax free, 100 years ago when I started getting into working on guitars. So I figured I would have a guitar that I could try new shit on. Well, this was it. This came as a 3 pickup Strat setup with a telly pickup in neck and bridge and a Strat pickup in the middle. And, you know, with a actually tortoiseshell pickguard. It looked like those Nashville Deluxe Fender tellies, if you ever seen it. And one day I got a nick on this thing real bad. And I forgot where it is. Might have been that one, actually. Who knows? Anyway, it was one of these over here. And I couldn't get past it. And then I saw a couple of videos of guys wearing the guitars. And I thought that was the silliest freaking thing I've ever seen. Because I have a 1990s Fender Jazz bass that looks like this, but I put every mark on it myself, playing, dozens and dozens of gigs and putting it away, sweaty. And that's what it looks like because I played it that way. This guitar, not so much. So I wanted to see if I could do it. But first, let's go through what this thing has. It does have a, believe it or not, 2-way truss rod. I don't know why they put a 2-way truss rod in this guitar, but they did. And it's not a bad neck. It's got a lot of shellac on it or whatever the hell, clear coat on it. And like I says, it's got a pretty good rosewood fretboard, but it does have, where's my finger? There's some cracking in the board over here, and but it's got big old jumbo frets, which I always love to play because it's, for me being a clumsy, shitty guitar player, actually bass player, playing guitar has always been challenging for me. I need bigger frets for my clumsy hands. But first thing I did was replace these because they were nothing but bent pieces of crap metal. And then I bought a new harness because I was putting humbuckers in it. I changed it to a Guitar Fetish stacked humbucker here and a stacked humbucker telly pickup here, which I did not like. I ripped that out, threw that in the garbage. Put a P90 in here for a while, and that sounded great for a while until I got sick of it, and then I ripped that out. And then I bought this $11 Amazon neck pickup. I don't even know what the hell it is. Bobcat or something. Who the hell knows? But it sounds great. And I put that in there, and I kept the humbucker in the back. The only thing I screwed up with is I never changed out my tone capacitor. So it kind of, you don't get a lot of run with the tone on this one. If I change the capacitor, I probably get a little bit more. But that's another thing. So, how do you make a guitar look like it's been played a billion times? Well, you say to yourself, well, guitars are going to have cracks and paint. You don't really care about them, right? So you believe it or not, you take the end of a screwdriver and you start tapping the thing. And where you get little cracks, you take your grinder, your little grinding tool here, you see that? And you start working spots. And with that, where your arm wears, you put that there and you take a little sandpaper to that. Here, your arm hits there, straps hit here. You're always going to have little chips around the sides. Where else? Guys with rings, they hit the volumes, right? So you put a little couple knocks there, and there. Always over here on the end. Let's look at the edge. The edge is now, everybody leans their guitar up the amp if you don't give a shit about it, like I did in the 80s and 90s. And you got to get buckle wrap. See that? You get that going. That was a little hard to do. But the back also. You see that? Behind the strap up there. Down here on the end. Somebody moved the strap, played it lefty maybe. I put that in there, make it look like somebody flipped it over and played it lefty. They really didn't, but why not? Again, and you're going to put the strings in for 50 years? What happens around the string holes? You stab them, you wear them out. Boom, you hit that up a little bit, right? This guy must, if this was real, this guy must have played with like a cheese grater on his belt because that's horrendous. I went a little crazy. Yes, I did. That was a little wire brush on a drill. But that's how you learn how to do things. That's why you buy a $109 guitar and experiment. I tried to scratch up the plate a little bit. Yeah, not as good as I thought it was going to be. For some reason, I didn't touch the neck. I mean, got afraid. You know, I don't think Frank would have been happy if I touched the neck. Frank, what do you think? Yeah, he's telling me, yeah, I wouldn't have touched the neck either. Because it's a pretty good neck, you know? It's got like this vintage deep tone. But there it goes. Two-way truss rod made in China. And like I said, let's take a look at this thing one more time. It's a pretty cool guitar. I mean, I love it. And maybe I'll play it in a video a little bit later and you'll hear it. But for now, my SX, what the hell is this damn thing called? Oh yeah, Vintage Series Custom Handmade Telly knockoff from, you guessed it, China.